Welcome to the SnagPad walkthrough, and basically what I'm going to do is walk you through setting up your SnagPad and getting started. So when Coach sends out, you're going to get an email that looks like this. It's going to have your email, which is your username and your password. You then go to snagpad.com, click on sign in, make sure it's set at job seeker, which is the default one, and just type in your password so that you can get into the system, password and username, and then log into the system. And when you log in for the first time, you're going to be required to look at the terms and conditions. Once you've read through and are comfortable with that, click on I agree with terms and conditions, and then hit continue. It's going to bring up basically an introduction to SnagPad. So again, increases the chances of landing an interview. Before you apply, strategize the following steps, and then you want to set up your SnagPad account. So click on the blue button here, and it's going to open up the profile wizard. Here you're going to basically enter your job A, and if you start with A, you can see all the various jobs that are in the system, and that will have complementary knowledge, skills, and abilities. So let's just say we went with accountant. Click save and next. What it's going to bring up is the list of the knowledge, skills, and abilities, and what you need to go through is just basically rate yourself on each of those, and as you go through them, think about the experiences that you had that allowed you to develop those competencies and whatnot. You could add other skills if you need to. If you put a job that's not in our database, it'll ask you to select the skills you feel are relevant to that job and then rate yourself that way. So once you've done that, save and next, and then identify your job B criteria. You can select from the pre-selected list, or you can add your own if you wanted to. So this was some makeup criteria, whatever that criteria may be, and then simply click save and next. It's then going to ask you for a highest education level completed. Again, this is to benchmark so that you can compare yourself to other job seekers in terms of how they're doing. It's totally anonymous. Nobody will ever know of what you've indicated here. So you simply want to put in what the university is, the applicable major, applicable minor, and so forth. If you don't find a major or minor or the university or college, you can just click it in here and enter that, and that will be sent to us to add to the database. Once you identify that, you move on to next. Select the country that you are located in, and I'll just randomly put one here, and let's say M5W14 E, save and next. And the reason you want to do that is because we're going to be able to suggest job opportunities or job cards to you. Also, the select the industry will help us narrow it down, so whatever those may be, you can select from a large list. The position level, what you're looking for is an executive position, entry level, etc. Targeted job type, part-time, full-time, and targeted job function. So any of these you can select from, and then save and next. And just the last section is about adding a resume or cover letter at this point. You could do this now, or you can add it later. But basically, it's about picking up picking a document and then adding to that. So you can open it up, and then it just adds. You want to click on start, it'll add that document, and it's there. And that's basically it for the profile. So just click complete, and then it brings you to the system. Now the first thing you're going to see is you have no snag jobs, and what you want to do is you can either enter one in manually, you can take one from the suggested job cards, or you can browse jobs. And then the final thing is you can add a plugin, and the plugin is only used in Firefox and basically allows you to go to various websites and add job opportunities to the SnagPad. But let's just, for this example, go to browse jobs. What you need to do is type in the type of job that you're looking for, and enter that information, what city you're looking in. So we can put it in here. The location, is it only in Toronto, or is it outside, etc., etc., and obviously the country, and then click search, and it's going to bring back job opportunities related to that. So for example, if I'm interested in this and I wanted more information, I can click on here. It's going to bring up a light box, and then if I click on the job URL, it'll actually bring me to that posting and more information and so forth. So I can say, get back to this and say I'm interested in applying, so I just simply click on this and it snags the job opportunity. And then if I go to my pad by just clicking on job cards, it will have that job card on my pad. Now the pad is basically this white area here with 6 columns: snag jobs, applied column, set interview column, verbal job offer, and job. And ultimately this is how you're going to be managing your job search. Now within the job card itself, which is essentially, it's a converted job posting so that you can capture some information, there's basically 2 main areas. One is the information about that job opportunity. So if I click on the body of the job card, it will open up this information and it will post all of this information here. The other part is the strategies, and you can see when I click or hover over the arrow, it comes in and out, but if I click on that, it opens the strategies for that particular opportunity. So in this case, in order to complete a strategy or look at a strategy, I just have to click on the blue box and determine whether or not, in this case, if it's related to a job A or B, has a bit of information that describes what it is, and it also has a video, or may have a video tutorial just explaining what that concept or that strategy is and why it's important to think about those in those terms. So again, if I select job A, it's going to remind me of all the skill sets that I selected for that particular area and which ones I'm below a 3 and I may want to address. If it's a job B, I just want to indicate, what skills I could acquire by taking that opportunity, and what's the criteria that it meets. Click Save, and then it basically brings me back to the strategies, and you can see the check mark there. Essentially, once I go through those strategies and I select them and complete them, it just adds a checkbox to it. And then when I'm ready to go and I want to move the job card to the applied column, I simply look at the arrow in the left-hand corner, bottom corner, and I click on it, and then it will actually bring me to the job posting, which in this case was done through Indeed, and they're requiring that I go through their system, the applicant tracking system that they're using. So there's no way to apply directly. So I can simply do that and then go back to SnagPad, and it says, have I actually applied, confirming that I've applied, and then it moves the job card to the next column. So you can see how you can do that for each of the sections, each of the stages that you go through. There's a number of strategies. At the end of each row in your pad, there's an odds meter, and basically what the odds meter does, it's an algorithm to determine what your chances of getting that particular opportunity. It's based on 3 things. One, it's based on the position the job card in. So if it's in the applied column, you're going to have a less chance of getting the job, obviously, than if you've got an interview. It also looks at the number of strategies you selected to determine what your odds are, and it looks at the time the card's been in the column. Because the job search is date driven, the longer it's in one column, the less likelihood of getting the job. So that odds indicator just basically gives you an indication of what's going on with regards to that. There's also a calendar function. So if I click on up here, if I have any interviews scheduled, thank you notes that I have to send out, it will indicate right here where that is, and it'll also send out a daily email digest from Monday to Friday, and it essentially looks like this, and it's going to suggest some job cards. It's also going to have some action reminders. If there are any, it's going to indicate, it's going to show you some different stats and so forth. So you can easily take a look at that. With regards to the menu, this menu at the top, the white menu, is basically what you need to focus on. The job bulletin are any job opportunities that are presented to you from the agency that you're working with. So if you're working with a job coach and they decide to post an opportunity, that's where you're going to find out those are. You're under job cards. You can go back to my pad, you can create a job card, and then the recycle bin, which is essentially the how to delete or get a job card off your board, and then of course the profile and the calendar. If I go back to the pad, you'd have noticed that there's 3 tabs on the job card. The first tab is if there's any contacts associated with that opportunity, to be listed here. This middle tab is for recycling or deleting or taking a job card off the pad. And then finally, if you're connected to LinkedIn or Facebook, you can do it there. So to collect to LinkedIn, you would connect it there. Any notes that you keep can be put here, and then that is shared with your coach, so they'll get an email and basically be able to respond to that. Again, any contacts, any attachments, resumes or cover letters would be listed here. And if the coach leaves a note, because they can see your pad on your job card, they would be found here, and you'd also get an email letting you know. Strategic score, again, is basically the number of strategies you've completed across all your job cards on the pad. The SAI score is basically the snag jobs column, the applied column, and the interview column, and keeps track of in terms of what you're doing and what you need to do in order to produce a number of interviews and so forth. And then the intensity score is linked to the challenge. So if you'll see here, there's a challenge tab. You simply click on the challenge tab, and you need to start the challenge for the first time. So by clicking on this button here, a short survey is going to come up that you need to fill out, and whatever the value is, you need to complete. So you just and this is going to give you a point total for that week. So you just simply click it out, answering and responding to the questions, and then click submit. And then what it's going to produce is a point total. So for this week, I got to get 41 points, and to get those 41 points, I got to complete certain challenges. Simply go into this section, complete challenges, and follow them through and fill it out, and that's how you complete it. And then your point total increases. At the beginning of every week, challenges are updated, and it's done on a weekly basis. So essentially, that's basically it. Again, the focus is obviously the pad and adding job cards to it as much as possible. Look at job postings externally and then bring them to your pad so that you can work through the challenges, again, in order to increase the likelihood of getting a particular opportunity. If you have any technical questions and you want to find out more information, there's a couple of spots you can go to. You can contact SnagPad directly by clicking on the feedback tab, put your name, email, message, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And then there's also a Get Help section with a short video and some FAQs that can answer some questions. So basically, that's a quick overview and run through of the SnagPad. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.